Hey y'all, in my bait lab, making baits like I do at Purdy. Just actually jacking around, trying some things. That's course shot stuff. Anyway, link in my description to my website. I'm making baits for sale now, trying to get that going. I won't do a commercial on this every time. The link will always be in the description for what I'm trying to do. I went to Truman Lake a couple days ago for 2 hours. I was really hurting bad and fishing pretty off. But I shot parts of 3 videos, mostly just footage because it's just too daggone windy to be talking over the camera. So this one should be easy enough because what I do talk is easy for me. It's about FFS, radar love, technology, and some thoughts I have on it. And I showed some things in the video, and I'll interlace the clips, kinda. I guess, I don't know. Is this going to make any sense? So anyway, bottom line, if you are a proponent of technology, don't watch. Or if you are a proponent of technology and can contribute in a meaningful way, awesome. But don't complain. You have no right to complain. I'm telling you right ahead of time, this is against the technology, as always. Peace out. Brotherly love. Bass fishing forever. Traditional bass fishing rules, though, and that's what we're going to talk about. So what I was thinking about out there, I'm hurting, still got these issues, and windy, oh my gosh, you can't, I don't think even with a good mic setup I could have talked on this camera. And trying to get in these bushes, which Truman is falling really fast and the fish are no longer in the bushes. Most of the bushes only had a couple foot of water in them. 84, 85 degree water is done for this year, for a while. But I was thinking as I was fishing down through there, and I'm going to keep coming back to this one picture, this one bush. I should, if I do this right, this bush is it's a button bush. I don't know how far north they grow. They're all the way in, I see them in Louisiana and Texas. They grow from here south, and sometimes they're a spectacular place for bass to be. Over the years, I would say between that and the willow trees, I've caught more fish in flooded button bushes and willow trees than anything else except possibly grass or pads, whatever. But as far as hard cover, timber, brush, buck brush, whatever, button bushes are hard to beat because when the water's right in them, they come up, they have a canopy. Fish can be anywhere in that bush and on that base. It just, when the fish are there, it's a blast. My point in this video, though, and showing this picture over and over, is traditional bass fishing. And the fact that I even have to say traditional, it's just been a few years and it's gone away. But some people never have been taught, maybe, and I was self-taught myself pretty much, how you approach a bush. That one bush is so complex. That thing was probably, 7 foot across. Some are bigger. That was a big one. It's complex. The approach to it. They have to be quiet. Trolling motor. It's an art to fish a spot like that, especially when the fish are shallow and maybe a little bit spooky. It's an art. It ain't radar love. and actually, people argued that the forward face sonar would not work in that situation. We've all figured out that's not true. Oh my gosh. You can catch fish in a foot of water with the stuff. Approaching that bush from the right directions, which is sometimes really tricky because the wind and the sun sometimes are opposite. You don't want to throw your shadow on the bush. That's just one thing I've never heard anybody talk about. Same thing, topwater fishing. That's a whole nother video. I'm wandering, I know. You come up on a bush in 2 or 3 foot of water, and where are the bass in the bush? Part of the art and part of repeatability and patterning those bushes, and sometimes it changes throughout the day. Sun, wind, current, water, color. Sun penetration is huge. Now, I catch fish in the middle of those bushes, the thickest part of the bushes, in a cloudy, rainy day. I've caught fish in the very outer extreme of them on a bright, sunny day. You've got to be willing and to adapt and to change and to listen to yourself, listen to the fish, and stay tough. Ain't forward facing sonar, is it? No. a lot of this art of bass fishing, of traditional bass fishing, I'm afraid just being lost. Whatever. When you can go up to that bush and see that fish, if there's even a fish there to start with, dadgum, how many thousands of bushes on Truman are still flooded the other day? I fished 150, 200 of them in that short stretch. 3 different coves right there I fished, from backs to fronts, trying to hopefully catch one good fish. I never got a bite. The fish are done with that. The forward face Sonar guys can tell you real quick, yeah, they're done. They're out on the points. They're out deeper already. They're out suspended. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in my life wasting time. And I like wasting time fishing where there's no fish, because that's called fishing. Yep. I've had quite a few conversations recently in my restaurant and on the water of folks and how much they love their forward face sonar. Not just from a tournament standpoint, just for everyday fishing. Over the years we've heard, well, it's not that important. It's hard to use. Not everybody can use it. But by gosh, everybody's trying to use it. It's making enough of a difference and people are learning it. A couple weeks ago, I was down at the lake early one morning, and a young man pulled up in basically a new Phoenix bass boat, all the good stuff on it. Nice, very polite man. A little bit I talked to him. I don't know him. I think he's one of the local studs. I don't know. He was practicing for a tournament that day. I saw him a couple times. But he's up there fuddling around, and he had a little cuss. I was walking back from my truck and said, "What's the matter? Got a problem?" "Yeah, I've lost power to my front grass." And I could have been, I wasn't. I said, "Well, fuse, I don't know." He said, "I don't really need them today, but it's going to bug me that it ain't working." I've seen guys pack up and leave when their forward face radar love wasn't working. How sad is that? I wonder if this kid, now he's 20s, now how he's got $100,000+ boat, whatever, that's always blows me away. Newer truck, that's a whole other topic, and no point dwelling on that. But this kid, can he approach that bush the way I do? Because here's the funny thing. I was at the water, he launched his boat, and he goes, types the dock, he looks over at my boat, and first thing he saw was me pulling a couple flipping sticks out. He goes, "Man, cool, old school flipping and pitching." That's what he said. That just shows you how much things have changed. How old school. Now, the way I do it is obviously because I do a lot of flipping. I pitch too. Actually, another video part of this I shot the other day is me talking about some of that. I flip. Old school flipping. I do more of that than anybody I know, including all the bass pros watching on the MPFL. He called it old school because I guess it is. I said, "Well, that's me. I'm old school. Do it the old way. Traditional bass fishing way." Hey, y'all, please check out the Solarbat link in the description. Independence Day sale, 30% off, including scripts. If you spend $98, you get a free hard case. And if you use my promo code that's in the description, you get free shipping and handling. Guys, Solarbat glasses are absolutely the frickin' cat's meow. Okay? Nothing better. Thank y'all. So back to that bush, y'all. All the things that have to come together to catch a bass out of that bush, to be able to repeat it pattern-wise. The science involved, or is science? Is it just maybe just plain old common sense thinking? I'm using heavy tackle. I've got at least 20 pound on my regular line. I've got 50 pound braid on my braid because dirty water. I love braid. Putting the bait sometimes in the very middle of that bush. Where are those fish at? What kind of mood are they in? Are they going to bite on the initial fall, which when flipping's best, I'm going to talk about that in another video. That's when it works. What kind of bait do they want? What kind of profile? They want a bulky bait. They want a more of a finessey small worm. I tried all that in an hour and a half. I tried a bulky half-ounce jig with a pretty big trailer. I tried a creature bait. I tried a plain little slim 6-inch gator tail style worm. Which, by the way, I have a mold coming to make those now. Haha. The nuances from that one piece of cover, that one bush, you can almost write a book. I'm obviously doing a video. I could do just that one bush. Got the wind whipping out of the south, but I got the sun coming from the south, which changes things. Watercolor, water temperature, the depth of the bush, where the fish are positioned in the bush, What kind of bait do they want? What kind of tackle do you need to use to make that bait? Do you just throw a buzzbait past it and they come out and wail on it? Like some of them did in FFL last week. That's awesome. Sometimes. I burn crankbaits through them. I crash in spinnerbaits, rip a spinnerbait through the edge of that thing and make them fish bite. There's been times. Yep, and a buzzbait and a spook around them, awesome. All that stuff goes by the wayside when you got forward-facing radar love telling you where the fish is at. Now, you still got to make them bite. But if you know where that fish is at in the bush and they lay a bait in there, it just ain't right. You tickle their noses till they bite or you go to the next fish. I'll bet you those 3 coves I fished backs, sides, and fronts of 2 of them and back and front of another one. For reasons, the way it laid for me, that's the way it worked best. Maybe I missed those fish in the middle on that one. Maybe. I fished 150, 175 bushes, I'll bet, and willow trees, and a couple hard standing timber stuff in there. Buckbrush. I fished it all because you never know. A lot of times not in that button bush. All the time I wasted there, a radar love guy would have scanned them and probably already been gone. What fun is that? I hear over and over and over. One kid in the restaurant last night, I saw him at the lake last week. I love my forward-facing sonar. I love not having to find fish. He told me out loud, I love not having to find fish. He's mostly a cat fisherman. He fishes I love not having to find them. Well, how much magic is there in that? How much art is there in that? There's none, y'all. And we're going to see, before this is all done, we've already seen it. We're going to see proof, though, that it's killing our fisheries. It's damaging the fisheries. Too many fish that have been uncatchable, have been reluctant to bite. It takes real art to make are getting caught way easier than they ought to be. And that's all there is to it. And I see it. I see it from crappie fishermen. I see it from cat fishermen. Obviously bass fishermen. I hear the walleye guys are getting really good with it too. There's the trickiest fish in Missouri waters to catch consistently is walleye. I've always been able to catch a few of them, but you don't know where they're at. You don't know what you're doing until you catch one. Sometimes it's hard to repeat. Apparently the forward-faced sonar guys with their radar love are smashing them. Yeah, I just felt like I had to go off. That one bush tells a story. That one bush speaks volumes about what we love about traditional bass fishing, what I love about traditional bass fishing. Where it's at on the lake, again, watercolor, temperature, the presentation, what bait do they want, over and over, and then you still have to make the presentation. It takes an art. It's a skill set to put that bait in there, and I'm glad I have that skill set. I've worked on that for years. Be able to lay that bait in there. Sometimes, when the fish are so spooky, if a bait hits hard, they're gone. Oh yeah, when they're in them bushes in a foot of water, and that bait hits with a blip, they're done. You'll blow out. And you can lay it in there without a ripple, and they go thump, and you know you got it right. And then you repeat it going down the bank or in other spots in the lake. That's the magic of bass fishing. And it's gone away with this frickin' radar crap. And so that's why I did this video. Nothing new. That's my take on it. Look at this bush. I'm going to show this bush. Look at this thing. It's an intricate, complex piece of work. A fish and multiple fish could be anywhere in that bush. My job is to figure it out and be able to repeat it and then change as they change sometimes during the day. Sometimes a fish, it may be a repeatable pattern, but they may change throughout the day. And it's using your head, your brains, your gut, your heart, staying on them. And that's what bass fishing is all about. That's what traditional bass fishing is all about. Hope you guys get this. If you don't, sorry, man, I feel for you a little bit. God bless. Talk at y'all pretty soon. I'm still making baits. Look at that. That's like cool. Look at that.